The date was May 9th, 2025, a day that would soon escalate. The location, the Delancey Hall ICE Detention Center in Newark, New Jersey. Outside its walls, a protest was underway, voices rising against federal immigration policies. Inside, or at least attempting to gain full access, was Congresswoman LaMonica Mclver. She was not alone. She was accompanied by two of her colleagues from New Jersey's congressional delegation. Their stated purpose was official congressional oversight. They were there to inspect the treatment of detainees held within the facility, a critical function of their elected roles, ensuring accountability. This was not a casual visit by Representative Mclver and her colleagues, Bonnie Watson Coleman and Robert Menendez Jr. Congressional oversight of federal facilities, including those managed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is a fundamental responsibility. Lawmakers carry the mandate to ensure these institutions operate humanely and according to established laws and regulations. Concerns about detainee conditions have often been a focal point for advocates and legislators alike. Thus, the inspection planned by Mclver was rooted in this very serious and legitimate duty. The air was already charged with the energy of the protest outside, setting a tense backdrop for the day's events. The situation took a sharp turn with the arrival of Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. Mayor Baraka, a significant political figure in New Jersey and currently a gubernatorial candidate, sought to join the congressional members. He aimed to participate in the inspection of the Delancey Hall facility. However, as he attempted to do so, federal officers intervened. They arrested Mayor Baraka. This arrest acted as an immediate accelerant. It transformed a tense situation into a chaotic one. The arrest of a prominent mayor, who was attempting to join a congressional inspection, was an unexpected and dramatic development that rippled through the crowd and beyond. The immediate aftermath of Mayor Baraka's arrest was fraught with confusion and anger. While the charges against him would later be dismissed by the U.S. Attorney's Office, ostensibly to promote unified leadership, the impact on the ground was palpable. It was in the charged atmosphere following this arrest that the alleged incident involving Representative Mclver occurred. The charges against her, specifically for assaulting, impeding, or interfering with law enforcement, would not be announced until May 19th by interim U.S. Attorney Alina Habba. But the seeds of that confrontation were sown in these critical moments of escalation at Delancey Hall. Representative LaMonica Mclver has vehemently denied any wrongdoing. She maintains that her actions were solely in furtherance of her congressional duties. She was present at the ICE facility to oversee the treatment of detainees, a core responsibility she holds as an elected official. According to Mclver, the chaos and escalation did not originate from her or the protesters. Instead, she asserts that it was the federal agents on site who heightened tensions, particularly through the arrest of Mayor Baraka. This act, in her view, was a deliberate provocation that disrupted what was intended to be a legitimate oversight activity by members of Congress. Her attorney, Paul Fishman, has strongly echoed these sentiments. Fishman, a respected legal voice, characterized the charges against Mclver as spectacularly inappropriate. He argues that the Congresswoman was performing her constitutional duty of oversight. He further contends that it was ICE agents who unnecessarily escalated the situation, subsequently attempting to shift the blame onto Representative Mclver. Fishman has emphasized that the full context and facts will be crucial in court, not just initial headlines or carefully selected clips. The defense is clearly positioning this as a case where a public servant was obstructed, not an obstructionist herself. Mclver herself has remained resolute in her public statements. She has underscored her unwavering commitment to serving the people of her district. In a powerful declaration, she stated, "This administration will never stop me from working for the people in our district and standing up for what is right." This highlights her perspective that the charges are not merely a legal challenge, but an attempt to hinder her advocacy and her work on behalf of her constituents. Her narrative is one of resilience and a continued fight for justice and proper governance, framing the incident as an obstacle she intends to overcome through due process. The specific charges leveled against Representative Mclver are serious assaulting, impeding, or interfering with federal law enforcement officers. These accusations stand in stark contrast to her stated purpose for being at the Delancey Hall facility to conduct oversight as a member of the United States Congress. This creates an inherent tension. On one hand, there is the duty of federal law enforcement to maintain order and protect officers. On the the other, there is the imperative for congressional representatives to have unimpeded access and ability to perform their oversight functions without fear of reprisal or politically motivated charges, as her team suggests. A key piece of evidence cited by the prosecution is a nearly 2-minute video clip released by the Homeland Security Department. This footage reportedly shows Representative Mclver on the facility side of a chain-link fence at one point. Later, the video captures her amidst a group of people, some of whom are shouting "Surround the Mayor," a chant that arose after Mayor Baraka's arrest. The government contends this video supports their charges. It provides a visual, albeit partial, record of the chaotic moments that unfolded. The interpretation of this video, however, is now at the heart of the dispute, as is often the case with such evidence. The video, while offering some images, also presents ambiguities. It reportedly shows Mclver in a tightly packed group of individuals. During this period, her elbows make contact with a federal officer. The critical question, which the video may not definitively answer, is whether this contact was intentional or an unavoidable consequence of the dense and dynamic crowd. Representative Mclver herself, in a CNN interview, has pushed back against the government's interpretation, stating there is no video evidence of her body slamming anyone and reiterating her claim that federal agents created the chaos. This highlights the differing narratives emerging from the same piece of footage. Official statements from federal authorities have been firm. Interim U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba, announced the charges against Mclver, signaling the Department of Justice's intent to prosecute. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem added that the decision to charge Mclver followed a thorough review of video footage. Secretary Noem also delivered a stern warning: assaults on federal law enforcement will not be tolerated. This rhetoric underscores the seriousness with which the federal government views any actions perceived as threatening or impeding its officers in the line of duty, regardless of the perpetrator's position. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche reinforced this stance. He stated, "This administration will always protect those who work tirelessly to keep America safe." He reiterated that assaults on federal law enforcement personnel would not be tolerated. Interestingly, this firm position on Mclver contrasts with the decision to dismiss misdemeanor charges against Mayor Baraka. That dismissal was framed by the U.S. Attorney's Office as a move to promote unified leadership in New Jersey. This juxtaposition of outcomes for two public figures involved in the same incident raises questions for some observers about the motivations and considerations behind prosecutorial decisions. The charges against Representative Mclver have sent political tremors through Washington and New Jersey. Many of Mclver's Democratic colleagues, including House Democratic leaders, have condemned the prosecution. They view the charges as politically motivated. The accusation is that this is an attempt by the current administration to intimidate members of Congress. Specifically, they believe it aims to silence opposition and hinder legislative oversight, particularly concerning the administration's stringent immigration policies. This perspective frames the legal action not as a pursuit of justice, but as a tool of political warfare designed to chill dissent among lawmakers. The prosecution of a sitting member of Congress for federal criminal charges, especially those not related to fraud or corruption, is notably rare. This rarity amplifies the significance of the case against Representative Mclver. It raises profound questions about the separation of powers and the ability of the legislative branch to conduct its oversight responsibilities without fear of executive branch retaliation. If members of Congress can face federal charges stemming from confrontations during oversight visits or protests, it could potentially create a chilling effect. Lawmakers might become more hesitant to engage in direct scrutiny of federal agencies, which is a concerning prospect for governmental accountability. Representative LaMonica Mclver is relatively new to Congress, but not to public service. She was first elected in a special election in September 2024 and then secured a full term in November 2024. Before her tenure in Washington, Mclver served as the president of the Newark City Council from 2022 to 2024. Her career also includes valuable work within Newark's public school system. This background paints a picture of an individual deeply rooted in her community and dedicated to public service, aligning with her statements about her commitment to her constituents. This history provides context for her passionate advocacy. Looking ahead, Representative Mclver has expressed a firm resolve to fight the charges. She maintains her innocence and her commitment to her duties. The legal battle will undoubtedly be arduous, with significant implications regardless of the outcome. This case touches upon critical issues: the boundaries of protest, the scope of congressional oversight, the conduct of federal law enforcement, and the potential for political influence in legal proceedings. Mclver's determination signals that she is prepared for this fight, both in the courtroom and in the court of public opinion, as she continues to serve her district.